Hello, another video for my slightly faster yet shittier camera computer. Anyway, this is about the IRA. Now, when I talk about the IRA, if I say IRA, unless I say old IRA or original IRA, I am talking about the PIRA. This is not a culmination of my research so far. It's just like a halfway point or three-quarters way done. I'm just compiling some of my research into this video and giving my opinion so far. Okay. Now, the thing is, I know nothing about Irish history. I mean, I know very little about Irish history. So, what I've basically had to do in the last probably 2-3 days is go through a crash course on Irish history and the history of more modern history. Anyway, so yeah, basically Ireland was originally free. Great Britain, well, it wasn't Great Britain then, but you know what I mean, took over Ireland because it wanted conquest and wanted land. It set up as a colony. Abused the Irish, treated the Irish very badly over the years. So, now the thing is that in the northern part of Ireland was, I guess, lands that, it had a lot of Protestants there because England was Protestant, and it had, usually if people who were English were settling in Ireland, they'd settle around Northern Ireland because it's the closest thing to England. So, and plus I believe they were given land grants for conquest. But anyway. So, eventually, Northern Ireland became Protestant, and, the Protestant Irish, or Irish Protestant, and the rest of Ireland became Irish Catholic. So, basically, after a long time of British rule, or as some people like to call it, British oppression. Not that I'm all for British. I'm not saying woo-ha British. No, I'm not saying woo-ha Irish either. I'm trying to keep this neutral as possible. But anyway, so after a long time of that, they tried to rebel several times. They did once in the 1700s, and again in the 1800s. Very beginning of the 20th century, they did again. And the Easter Rebellion in 1916, which was the start of the I believe the IRA, meaning the old IRA, the original Irish Republican Army, started around the Easter Rebellion, though I believe it had roots earlier. And ta-da! Anyway, so the IRA, went in, and after finally, I think it started around 1919. The final successful rebellion. It went into 1921 when the Anglo-Irish Treaty, I believe it was Anglo-Irish Treaty, was signed. That basically said, Ireland, the main part of Ireland that's primarily Irish Catholic, but they divided Ireland between Irish Catholic, which was most of Ireland. They made that free Ireland, and then they kept Northern Ireland, which was primarily Protestant. So, I guess they decided that they wanted to either, still have a foothold in the island, or maybe they just wanted to, keep their, slightly British Irish people safe or something. My head's spinning. I've been researching this. I've been doing a crash course in Irish history, so my head is spinning. But anyway, so basically, so Ireland was free around 1922. And basically what it went through between 1922 and 1969 is basically what the U.S. went through in the late 18... first they had an Irish Civil War, I think in the 1930s rather. And then they had a whole bunch of problems that we had in the latter half of the 18th century and early part of the 19th century. So bad civil rights, gerrymandering was a big problem. You know, government wasn't being fair to their people. So around the 1960s, they did the same thing that we were doing with the civil rights movement. They had a big civil rights movement. And the government there did the same thing that the government did here. It oppressed the people. It, broke up peaceful demonstrations, etc. And so they basically were at the crossroads that we were at. Keep going the Martin Luther King, Mahatma Gandhi style, or go the militant Malcolm X style. They went Malcolm X. And the IRA, the PIRA, the Provisional Irish Republican Army, who still trace their roots back to IRA, the original old IRA, but a lot of people don't connect those two. They think it's too obscure a connection. Anyway, said basically, the IRA is, they didn't like the current Free Ireland government. They also wanted the Irish people to be whole. They didn't want Ireland to be Northern Ireland and Main Ireland. And they didn't like the current Irish government, so they created a militant group, the IRA, which wanted to take down the governments of both Northern Ireland and Ireland and replace it with socialism. And Ireland and the UK and the US branded them as terrorists because they did terrorist things. Did a lot of terrorist things. I mean, sure, they had peaceful things too. They had hunger strikes and they tried to do it politically, but they also had a lot of terror. They had a lot of terrorists. They had a lot of blowing things up and killing people. But then again, atrocities went on both sides. Nobody's entirely innocent. But, anyway, and then basically in 2005 they decided to no longer be violent anymore. But anyway, this is what my research has brought me so far. Anyway, my opinion so far, I feel sympathy for the Irish. I am 1/4 Irish. But that, I'm not very close to my Irish heritage, but I feel sympathy for the Irish. Not pity, sympathy. A lot of people tend to get those confused. And I don't feel it's right what Britain did to Ireland. But on the other hand, I don't think it's right the way Ireland, the way the IRA did a lot of their things. Are they terrorists? From what I see, yes. I feel for them. But so far what my research has told me is that, there was bloodshed on both sides. But I wouldn't say I hate the IRA. I'm not going to say I like them. Anyway, probably going to have one more video. I'll post in response to this one, which will be the culmination of my research. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm starting to get a really bad migraine. So this is Joe Bob 1/2, always declaring love and peace.